Good morning, it is 6 a.m. and it's a content day. Let's get it.
What up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Tanya Marie here, and this is a video I am so excited for. So let's get amped up. We are talking about all things content creation, influencing, business, career, boss, babe, you name it. That's what we're getting into the video today about. And I'm so excited because I went ahead and put a question box up on my IG, and you guys left a ton of questions for me. So your girl's been in the game for 4.5 years. I'm feeling pretty confident that I can answer all of your guys' questions. So let's just jump into it. But before we do, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, turn on the post notifications so you don't miss a thing, okay? And let me pull up the questions so we can do this. Oh, I love that the first question is, how did you start? Let's back it up, baby. Pandemic. I am one of the pandemic influencers. If you know us, it's cool to be us because we really had the upper hand at the time of the pandemic to build a career. And what I mean by that is the world was turned off, everyone was on their phones, and there was a ton of engagement to be had. But yeah, I was a corporate girly. I worked in corporate America. I was in a sales role, lost my job like many others in the pandemic, and was pretty much depressed and confused about what I wanted to do with my life. I loved doing sales. I loved the money, but it wasn't fulfilling me, and I kind of felt empty at the end of each day. So I knew that it wasn't going to be something that was going to be sustainable for me long term. However, I was quite successful in that role. When the opportunity for me to sit with myself and really think about what's next for Tanya, content creation and creating was something that was always in the back of my mind. I used to watch all the OG YouTubers back in my high school and college days and think, wow, how cool it would be to be them. But I really never had like the balls to do it. Like I cared too much about what people thought in my young 20s to really show up online as consistently as I needed to at that time. And I'm kind of glad it didn't happen at that time because I don't think my mental health would have been good growing up online. For this to happen when I was like 28, I already didn't care what people thought. I knew who I was, and I was able to show up online really authentically as me. When I lost my job, I very much was like, what am I gonna do? My niece was like, you should download TikTok. It's a really funny app. You might enjoy it. Downloaded the app, started scrolling, immediately was laughing every 5 seconds. I was like, oh my God, I get it. Like there's trends and like the trends build on each other and people are making similar videos, but like twisting it a little bit. Like this is fun and creative and challenging. And none of my friends were on the app. So I really was like, if I post over here, nobody gonna see it. I literally was like, let me just try this trend. And it was, I walk a mile in these Louboutins, and everyone was, you know, making shoes out of random objects like oven mitts or whatever. And I think I taped 2 little Jack Daniels bottles onto the heels of my feet and made it like a little heel, and I just stepped into frame. And I think that got like 50,000 views. And I was like, wait, what is this? And all these followers started coming to my page. And then it literally just started from there. I started posting consistently after that. And then next thing you know, I had a following and brands started reaching out to me, and the rest was history. And here I am. So that was the start to this career. However, I will say that even though I started the career that way, I have always been a creative at heart. So everything that I did before I started this career prepared me for this career. So I really truly think that God works in mysterious ways, and he puts you on this crazy path that you couldn't have planned for yourself, but he's going to get you where you're going if you're committed to him. So that's what I want to say about that. But let's get to the next question. How did you become a full-time content creator? Well, because I lost my job, as I just said, I was full-time immediately. And that's why it was a really unique time for anyone who started that career to start, because a lot of us didn't have jobs and a lot of us were just trying to make something stick. And so I was able to put in full-time hard work into TikTok at that time. I think I was posting literally 3 times a day in real time, Monday through Friday, like a psychopath. Like I was treating it like my full-time job. Like it was just like TikTok after TikTok after TikTok. I was posting in real time. Like it was crazy. And then I remember Reels came out on IG, and I just started moving all my content over. And then like once I realized I could start getting paid, I think I started getting reached out to from brands like about a month into doing it. And I was like, hold on, y'all about to pay me? Bet. I'm about to put in a good 8 to 12 months into this thing and see if I never have to go back. And I never went back to corporate America. So yeah, I was just full-time from the beginning. When do you know you can quit your 9-to-5 job to be a full-time content creator? Well, are you consistent? You know, there's some questions that you should ask yourself. Number one, have you saved enough from your full-time job to hold you over and to continue to invest into the business of content creation? Because you're going to need money, most likely, to keep your business consistent online. You're also going to need to have good habits so that when you do quit your job, you already kind of have some structure and flow as to how you create content. There is so many successful content creators that have a job. So I would challenge you to really build a career online while you're working at your full-time position. If it were me, I would quit when my money is starting to outweigh my salary or my hourly job, right? Because then I know, like, okay, I've made it. Like I'm past the threshold. You know, there's not much of a risk here. However, if you have this big old savings and you're ready to go 100% and life is short, I also applaud you for wanting to be that risk taker and just go for it. But you have to know yourself. Like, are you committed? Are you consistent? Are you skilled, right? This is a skill. Content creation is a skill. Editing, taking pictures, understanding angles, understanding storytelling, understanding marketing. It's a skill. You can't just walk into this job and expect to be good at it. It is a skill and it requires you to have a skill set to be successful. Now, you can be self-taught. Most of us are. However, you should not be quitting a job if you have not built that education up and you do not have that skill set, because you will not be able to sustain a content creation career online. So those are all things I would ask myself if I was in that position. What camera do you use? Can you record yourself? Back-end system, how do you film, record, edit? I don't know about the back-end system. Maybe she's talking about the back camera. For cameras that I use my iPhone, and I will always use the back camera. I rarely ever use the front camera. Like, the only time I use the front camera is if I'm taking a selfie, and even still, I like to use 0.5 selfie. Or I'll use that if I'm like talking to on stories and I'm just like blah, 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 right? That's like the only time I use the front camera. For everything, I'm gonna be using the back camera, and I'm gonna be using 4K, 30 frames per second. That's gonna make sure that quality is really, really nice when you go to edit it. Lighting is a big thing when it comes to filming your content, understanding where the best lighting is, right? Right now I'm sitting in front of my big windows in my bedroom, and that's why I'm getting this beautiful lighting. So lighting is super crucial and important when you're thinking about angles and all of that. Also, another camera that I just invested in, which is the one that I'm filming on now and I'm using this mic for, is my DJI Osmo Pocket 3 camera. I'm obsessed with this. I just got it. It films wide, so it films landscape and it films vertical, which I love that because I do YouTube content now, and obviously like Reels and TikTok and everything is vertical. So I love that I can do both, and it's a 4K camera and it's super small and lightweight. That is the camera that I'm using in tandem with my iPhone. And then I also use my Canon GX7 for photos. It has a really nice flash. It's also a light, not heavy camera. It has really nice autofocus, so you can take really beautiful pictures at night or wherever. That's the camera that if I'm going on vacation, I don't have a photographer, that's the camera I'm gonna be taking pictures on. So GX7 for pictures. You also could use that to vlog if you want. And then my Osmo Pocket 3 camera, and then I have my iPhone camera. Those are the 3 cameras. And then it comes down to lighting, and then you're gonna need a good tripod, girl, right? Like, you're gonna need a tripod so that you can put your camera on it, you can put your phone on it, you can get those angles that you really, really want. But I'll make sure that I take all my equipment and I'll link it for you down below so that you can shop the equipment that I use, from lighting in the bathroom to tripods to suction mounts to everything that you need. I will put that down there. I really don't have that much gear. None of my gear is actually super, super pricey. Those are the cameras that I use. How do you wake up early to do the work? I have a hard time getting up even with an alarm. Well, listen, building a habit. If you need to read a book about building a habit, I heard that Atomic Habit is a really good book for you to read. I have not read it, but everyone says that when I talk to them about like my schedule and my work ethic, they say, oh my God, you're in tandem with this book. And I'm like, okay, I need to go read this book, because if it's me, I need to know. Anything that is hard for you to do, it's all gonna be about creating a habit. And so it's gonna take you a good month or so to actually create this habit. And so instead of throwing everything in at once. Like I want to wake up, I want to eat healthy, I want to work out, I want to go to bed by 9. That's a lot of things, right? And I think habits have to be built on top of each other. I have a really hard time waking up. I am not a morning person. However, I realize that days are flying by, especially being a mom, being a boss, being a wife, being a daughter. There's a lot of hats that I wear all day. And so I'm getting pulled in a million different directions. And if I do not wake up early, when the house is quiet, when the kids are asleep, my husband's asleep, my mom's asleep, everyone is asleep, I won't get a second to myself all day. And so that is my motivation now to get up at 5:30 a.m. every day. I also am trying to get back into the gym, and the gym is my moment for just me. So when I go to my Pilates class at 6 a.m., that is the only time that I'm gonna have, and it's 1 hour where I'm just doing something for me. And I think that's so important, especially when you're a mom, to have that dedicated time. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with why I wake up early. And then again, taking it one thing at a time. Like I just started, okay, I'm gonna get to the Pilates class. I'm gonna wake up at 5:30. I do that for like 2 weeks straight. Once I've accomplished that, it's like, okay, now let's talk about what my eating habits are. Do I wanna cut out sugars and things like that? Let me add that on. Okay, let's talk about, I wanna go on a walk in the afternoon when Zaire comes home with school so I can get some cardio in with my Pilates class. Then I'll add that on. So I kind of just start adding things on, and then eventually I just have this really beautiful structure. And like, that's the goal. But yes, I hate waking up. I am not a morning person, but it's what I have to do for my mental health. So that's where I'm at. So maybe figure out your why and then work backwards from there. Advice on getting started. I know that this question is gonna come up 100 times in this chat because every time I leave a chat box up about content creation, the first thing people ask me is, okay, how do I get started? You just start. There is no perfect regimen for you to get started. You just need to start showing up online consistently, okay? Like you need to be consistent. This is a consistency game. It's about discipline, honey. Anything that you want in life is gonna require some discipline. So you need to be posting consistently. That is how you start. At the beginning, it does not matter what content you create. It just matters, are you creating the content and is it getting pushed out, right? You're not sitting on content. If you want to be a content creator, you need to push out as much content as you can until you find what you like, which means you have to start creating, you have to start practicing, you got to start making the videos, and then you'll start to feel what you like, what you don't like, what your audience is relating to, what they're not relating to. You just got to throw shit at the wall until it literally sticks, honey. Like make it stick. But I need you to be like throwing out things like that. It's just like dating, bruh. You gotta open the roster. You gotta date a lot of people to find the one. Okay? So it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. Get in or get out. I love when people say, oh, I just don't know how to get started, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, dude, just start. There's no how to get started. Just make a video. Find something you want to talk about. Find something you want to educate on. Find something you want to show. Do you want to show your outfit? Do you want to do this? What can you bring to people? Find your community through that. Like, who are you? Show up as you, baby. You're enough. Yeah, that's what I would say. What is the hardest part about being a full-time content creator? The hardest part is balancing work and things that don't relate to work. When you become a full-time content creator, especially in a lifestyle category, everything seems like it could be content, right? It's like so overwhelming because like your whole life could literally be content if you wanted it to. So finding that balance of what you're going to share online and what you're not going to share and you want to keep private and just for you is something that people I think have a hard time balancing. I think I have a hard time balancing, right? Because like it's like, hey, I book a vacation. You guys want to come on the vacation with me. You want to be there. You want to experience it. You want to know where I'm eating, where my outfits are from. That all of a sudden turns my vacation into work. And so that can be really hard of like, when do I actually get to stop and take a break? And that is the hardest thing about this job is there really is no breaks. This is a 24/7, like 24-hour job. Like you guys always expect us to be there and we love that. And I love that, right? It's fun, but also for my mental health, I do need to know when to say, I need a break. I need to step back. I need to have designated hour in the day where I do not go on my phone. I need to not doom scroll, right? I need to take breaks away from social media because social media is a lot and it can drain you. And so really protecting your mental health in this job is really hard. Not, let alone all the people and all their opinions and everything that gets thrown at you. Like you got to have tough skin, okay? You got to really not care what people think. And that's not for everybody. It definitely takes a certain type of person to stomach the stuff that's said about them online. And so I don't recommend this job to people that are, again, struggling with mental health or care what people think. This is not the job for you. So really think about that. Truly, because it's scary out there. What brand was your first brand deal, and what advice do you have for beginners? My first brand deal was with NYX Cosmetics. That was the first deal that I was paid on. They reached out to me when I was posting on TikTok after like a month or so, and they were like, hey, we want you to do some makeup videos for us. And I was like, oh my God, NYX Cosmetics, you're literally like the lip liners I've been using my whole life that are like $6, $7, like what? They have all their buttercream lip glosses. Like, oh, I was like, there's no way that they want to work with me, but they did. It was really, really cool. As far as advice with beginners, I would say that make sure that your content is marketable. I think there's a lot of like IG baddies and like girls that just want to look sexy online. There's nothing wrong with that. I applaud them, but you have to think of this like a business. There's nothing wrong with looking sexy online, okay? Do what you want. But if you are looking to make this a lucrative career, you have to be marketable. And so you have to think about how could a brand place themselves in my content and it feel natural, right? Brands have to see themselves in your content in order to work with you. So that's really something to think about when you're thinking about what kind of content you want to make, what's your strategy, what you decide to share online. Bigger brands, they have a reputation to uphold. And so you want to make sure that your page is in line with that. So that would be my biggest advice to any creator that's beginning. Think about your marketing strategy when you're thinking about what kind of content you want to create so that you are keeping all the dollars in your pocket. How to start and not feel uncomfortable posting. So you will always feel uncomfortable posting just a little bit. I think like even being 4.5 years in the game, it's not like I post and I'm just like, oh my God, forget about it. It's easy. Like some posts are easy. Some posts I don't care about. But there are posts where I literally put so much time into them that I'm like, oh my God, if this flops, like I literally just spent so much time editing this, or there was so much prep and thought that went into this and it's probably not going to do that good. Like that feeling like still happens. You're creative. Anytime you put a piece of art or work out, you know that there's going to be a response. And sometimes that's still uncomfortable and nerve-wracking. But at the same time, I'm not going to let it hinder me, and I'm not going to take a post down because it didn't do good. Like move on, move along. Like it's one post in a million posts. So like, who cares? The only way you can get over the uncomfortableness is to, again, practice this, like repetition, right? Get used to the feeling of posting, get used to the feeling of just rolling out consistent content, let it become second nature to you. And just know like, it's just another day at work. Instead of it being like, oh my God, this post is such a big deal. It's like just another day at work. I'm just showing up at work. I'm just posting because I have to post every day. So I'm just posting. And some days are going to be really good at work. And some days are just going to be mediocre. And some days are going to feel like, I kind of didn't do 100% right there, but it's okay. Because I'm not perfect and I'm human. So if you think about it like that, it won't feel like such a big deal. But if you think about, oh my God, I have to post this thing, it's such a big deal, you're the one holding the weight. Believe me, someone's on their phone looking at your content for 2 seconds. They don't care about you. Even the people that follow me, like, I know that you're going to move on. Like, you're going to look at my content and you're going to be like, oh, that was cool. Oh, maybe I didn't like that. But then you're just going to move on in 2 seconds. So like, why am I over here sweating? For what? Like, babe, you're just not that important. That's what I tell myself, at least. I'm like, I'm just not that important. So why am I tripping? I'm just a little old me. So yeah, that helps me at least. I don't know. Did you always want to be a content creator? If not, how did you get into it? So I let you guys know how I got into it, but deep down, I always wanted to be on camera in some way, shape, or form. When I was a little girl, I loved performing on stage. I loved making home videos. I loved pretending like I was a newscaster or whatever I could be. I always wanted to be on Disney Channel as a kid. I wanted to be a kid star, truly. Like I really did. And so I went into theater and I was a cheerleader and I loved anything that had to do with performing. Going into college, I was honestly too afraid to go into like acting or anything like that because I really didn't have that much practice besides theater. I didn't know if like on-screen acting was for me. So I went into a news broadcasting journalism major at San Francisco State University. That's what I studied. So I learned how to edit in college. I learned how to storytell in college. I learned how to speak, to the camera very comfortably in college. So I had all these skills. And then I went into an internship in college and actually did not like the news field at all. I felt it was super stiff. No one had a personality. It was just very basic to me, and I just really did not enjoy it. I have way too much personality for that job, and I didn't want to have to be swallowed up and being very proper in whatever they wanted me to be. It didn't work out for me, and that's when I went into sales because I knew I was a people person. I love to talk to people. I kind of always knew I wanted to be in a role like this. I just think it's a really funny way of getting here, the way it all turned out. So it's kind of crazy, like that deep down, I always knew I was meant for something like this. And then like this found me. But when I was a little kid, there was no job like this. So this is better than anything I could have imagined as a child because I get to just show up online as me. I get to create what I want to create. I get to put out what I want to put out. I'm the creator, the editor, the whole package. So that's just so freaking cool. And I'm glad that I got my regular old childhood where I could just be me and go through, you know, puberty and awkward moments and all those things privately. And I love that I found this job at 28 years old where I was like, baby, I know who I am. You're not going to tell me who I am. You know, like it found me at the perfect time. So God, you're funny. I like the way you work, but you had me questioning what I was going to be doing with my life for a second there. Is it still worth pursuing the way things have changed? I don't know what you mean by the way things have changed. I wouldn't be waiting on the world to tell you that you need to go and do this job. You know deep down inside if this job is for you. It will speak to you consistently. The urge to film and create and edit something will be there. Like it will be there. I think a lot of people want this job, but they have no idea really what goes into it. If you're worried about, oh, is it too late? If you think it's too late for you, boo, then you said that. For me, it's never too late to go after my dreams. Like, I don't care how old I am. If something is speaking to me in my gut, in my soul, baby, I'm going to go get it because it's mine. I'm claiming it and it's mine. So no, do I think it's too late? Absolutely not. I don't think it's too late to do anything in life. Like, I think that's a bad way to look at life in general. It is not too late, okay, for you to pursue what you want to pursue. You just need to get off your ass and do it. Don't think that there's like a perfect opportunity or window, though there never is going to be unless you just get up and start doing it. So I'm just going to say that question, y'all, you shouldn't ask it. It's never too late for anything. You need to demand what you want out of this life and you need to go and get it. How do you divide time for family and making content? Well, lucky for me, I am a lifestyle content creator. I can kind of choose and pick a lot of different things to record, which helps me balance family time and content creation. I will pick maybe a few moments out of every week that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to film content around these few moments. And then the rest of the time I'm like, it's just family, regular old time. I really don't film as much as I think people think I do. And I have a lot of private family time, which I truly do love. So I am not filming every single day. No. I will have batch shoot days where I'm like, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to get ready. I'm going to shoot these videos for 4 or 5 videos in one day. That's going to help me out throughout the week. And maybe I have 2 or 3 of those days a week. So that's kind of how I balance it. Batch shooting really helps. And then just a little bit of planning will go a long way so that you can figure out, okay, what moments this week do I want to capture? And then the rest is just whatever. So it's like, oh, I want to capture what I eat in a day. Okay, so what day am I capturing that video? Or, oh, I want to capture a morning routine with my kids. I'll pick one day this week and film that morning routine. So that's kind of how I balance everything. It's just a little extra planning, figuring out what those moments are at the top of the week so that I can make sure that I'm capturing those through the week. And then the rest of the week is just fun and enjoyment and whatever. So yeah, that's basically how I do it. How do you stay consistent as a beginner without a full team? So I actually feel like it's a little bit easier to stay consistent with no team in a way. And the only reason why I say that is team requires a lot of management, a lot of admin, a lot of businesses, a lot of logistics, and that can get really complicated. Everyone has different schedules. It's just, there's a lot of coordination. There's a lot of leadership that requires for a team. So sometimes to get projects off the ground, it can take quite a while, but you really just need to lean into that tripod, girly. Lean into the tripod, love your tripod, pop that phone up on the tripod and get that video. Like, me and my tripod are still besties to this day. I film a lot of my stuff. I really film everything besides literally paid campaigns, which I always get backup to help with because there's a lot of things I have to look for when I'm shooting a paid partnership because a lot of detail goes into those partnerships, right? A lot of things I can and cannot do. So I have to make sure that I have extra eyes when I'm filming those paid partnerships so I don't have to reshoot. But I'm filming all my content by myself and I'm editing most of my content besides these YouTube videos. So yeah, I do think that a team is not really the answer for you being consistent. You have to build that consistency, because the moment you get a team, it's going to be even harder for you to stay consistent, because now you are managing people. Okay. You got to check in with people. You got to make sure they're doing what they're doing. You got to make sure everyone's on the same page. It's just less time. So it's actually easier for you to be consistent now when you're just solo dolo and you're just dealing with yourself. You need to come up with a schedule. You need a batch shoot. You have to have days where you film. You have to have days where you just sit and edit. You have to have days, where that's what it looks like. You maybe want to think about how you show up on IG stories. I show up once in the morning, one in the afternoon, one at night, whatever. You got to build structure. Structure is everything to your week. So just like you would in any other job, how you have a routine at your job, you have to have a routine in this job, and you have to be the one to set it. And it requires a lot of discipline, because no one's going to check in and say, hey, Tanya, did you do that? Did you post today? Nah, bruh. I'm the one that's checking in on myself. So again, this does require a lot of discipline, self-discipline, in order to be successful. How do you create boundaries to ensure parts of your personal life remain private? Being that I am the creator of all of my platforms, I really get to decide what goes and what doesn't. What I decide to keep private is moments that I maybe need to get through on my own before I decide if I ever want to share them or if I'll share them or anything, right? So I do not always post things in real time. Sometimes I go through things, and then once I've gotten through that thing and I can have kind of a relief moment and realize what happened there and reflect on it, that's when I feel comfortable maybe telling that story to you guys, because I'm not in it in real time. That's a lot of the times how I deal with private matters, is I don't share in real time and I just wait and kind of sit on it until I feel like, okay, now I want to share the story because it may help someone. And then there's other things that are private that I just am not going to share, maybe ever. And that's totally fine. I think you just have to know what you're comfortable with. And I don't really suggest getting advice on what you feel comfortable with. It should come from you. It's your information. You got to set those boundaries and barriers. You do not have to share everything online. You can share just what you want to share. It's your page. There should be no pressure with that. It's going to be about you at the end of the day. What are you comfortable with? And everyone's different. For me, I feel like those more tender moments, for instance, when Coast was in the hospital, I did not want to post about Coast being in the hospital until I left that hospital, because I was like, what if my baby dies? Or what if this happens? Or what if anything? Or anything. What if something bad happens? I do not want to be updating people in real time with that. So I needed to see that experience through. I needed to leave the hospital, know my baby was okay. And then I was like, okay, I can share about this now that I know Coast is okay, because there is mothers that have experienced bringing their baby home and going right back to the hospital. There is mothers that have NICU babies, are scared. And I just want to be that little glimpse of it can get better. Believe in God, trust in the process, trust in Him. He'll be there for you. And so I shared my story at a point where I felt like I was more comfortable doing that. So sometimes it's just good to sit on things, and other things you're going to sit on and say, yeah, I'm never sharing that online. And that is completely okay. How and when do you find time to edit your videos? So I like to edit videos either super early in the morning before everyone gets up, or during Coast nap times, or at night when everyone is asleep and it's quiet. But a lot of the times I will block off chunks on my calendar for editing time. So I have days where I film, and I'll film a whole bunch of videos, and then I'll have today's a video day. So tomorrow I will probably spend the morning editing, and then I might film something in the afternoon. Really just blocking out chunks on my calendar to say these are editing admin days, and then these are the days that I'm actually going to film and get some content. So yeah, just again, building that structure is going to be everything, and build it over time, right? Just try to stay consistent with the structure. Okay, maybe I'm just going to have one filming day a week and one admin day. Start there. Try to film 5 videos that day or something, and videos don't have to be crazy. Or I'm going to take 2 pictures. I'm going to make 3 videos. 2 are going to be trends. One's going to be an organic piece of content. And then I'm going to do maybe an outfit. And then I'm going to do a photo dump thing that I'm going to build over the week. Right. And that's your content day. And then the next day it's I'm going to edit those videos and so forth. How many followers did you have when you started? Well, I had 0 on TikTok when I started. And on Instagram, I had about 6,000 followers when I started growing my accounts over there. And YouTube, I just started from scratch. I had 6,000 subscribers when Zaire was born, and now we're over 500,000 over here. So it really hasn't been that long with you guys, but loving it, thriving. How much can one make? Millions. millions of dollars. A milli. I'm telling you, you can make money. You can make some money. And I'm not even just talking about me. I know there's people that are making way more than me. Like, I haven't even scratched the surface. Like, they are making money. It's crazy. Cool part about this job is the sky is the limit. You don't even know what opportunity is going to come in your inbox. You don't know what you're going to be doing next week, the week after, nothing. It's just on the fly. Anything could come to you. Anything could happen. So it's very exciting in that way, but you could make millions, billions if you're lucky. How do you cope with a toddler and a newborn baby while being a career and content creator? I got help, okay? I have invested a ton of money into my business, let me tell you. And that goes into being childcare, right? Like, I love being a mother. I love it, I love it, I love it. But I love my career too. I love it, I love it, I love it. I want both to coexist. I also love being a wife, and I love being a daughter, and I love being all the things, and I need everything to coexist. And that means I cannot do everything, okay? And I am totally fine with that. I have worked so hard to build this career. There is no reason for me to just drop it, become a mother full time, and leave my dreams behind. I worked so hard to get here, which means I have to protect it and I have to create space for it. So that requires me to go out and seek help and receive help and sometimes pay for help. That is a whole new world for me. I've talked about this so many times. I did not grow up with that type of lifestyle, didn't grow up with a nanny, nothing. I'm 1 out of 5. My mom works at a grocery store. My dad's a teacher. I was a very much lower middle class family growing up. So no, I don't know the life that I'm living. It's all brand new to me. And so that sometimes can be super uncomfortable. But yeah, I have now realized that I do not want to take a step back from my career. And even with having babies, I still am not as consistent and organized as I used to be with no kids. And so it's having me rework my business and how everything works and the foundation and everything. It's like kind of being rebuilt right now, truly, because things function so much differently now that I have kids than when I didn't have kids. And so I'm having to rethink everything, and the way I structure everything on the back end is changing currently right now, which is super exciting for me because I feel like now after having 2, I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I need, and I'm going to be very strategic about how we get there as a business. But yeah, I definitely have help. I have childcare. My kids are, I'm not a stay-at-home mom. I'm a work-from-home mother. And I will say that to be very clear, I'm not a stay-at-home mom. I'm a work-from-home mom, okay? Very different. I manage because I don't do this alone. I have a village that supports me. Wonderful. And the people that we've hired on to help us with this have become like family. So I feel very blessed in that way. But yeah, I'm not doing or raising these kids alone. They have so many people that love them, and it's just a lot of fun over here. My house is always full. And it's just good vibes. It's just good vibes. But yeah, definitely new to that. But I would say, yeah, I definitely have a lot of help. And I think I've always been transparent about that since having that. Hopefully you guys know that. And if not, I'm glad I've told you now. Do you still have business and staff? Yes, I do. But my team looks a lot different than it has in a while, and it's still kind of under works. So I'm not going to talk too much about the breakdown of my team because a lot of things are changing, and I'm really excited about that. So once I have that all set up, I can definitely do a whole nother video on that. But yes, I do have people that work with me on specific projects if I need assistance on them. I would say my team is pretty lean right now, especially since having babies. I had to kind of reprioritize where I needed help, right? And my children are definitely coming first. I've kind of taken a step back from hiring this huge staff in my business, but now we're starting to ramp up. I'm starting to get the 2 babies under control. Coast is coming up on 3 months. So things are starting to look a little bit different, and I'm starting to kind of, okay, it's time to now grow my team back out. So yeah, business is always changing, which is the exciting part. I have some really exciting things coming on my business end, and I'm excited to kind of flesh those things out and just get everything built back up again. So very exciting. Did brands reach out to you at first, or did you have to initially reach out? So I told you NYX Cosmetic reached out to me. I was only on TikTok. So that's when I found out I could make money on TikTok. And I was like, okay, wait, what is this? I would say that's kind of what started me realizing, oh, this could be a career. So now it's a little bit of both. I still pitch myself to brands, and brands still reach out to me. So it's like a 2-way street, which I love. How do you start if you have little money to buy products and other sellable items? I don't know if you want this advice, but I went into $25,000 of debt starting this business. So when I started on TikTok, I was buying product, I was reviewing it, I was putting out my credit card. And by the end of that year, I was $25,000 in debt and I wasn't really getting paid that well on the platforms. I gave myself like 2 more months and I was like, I'm gonna go really hard. I'm gonna be very strategic. And by the end of that 2 months, I was at like 400,000 K on TikTok and I was at like 100K on Instagram. My career really took off. I got management, I made Sephora Squad and yada, yada, yada. The rest was history. I don't know if that's the advice you wanted, but that's how I did it. And it was a risk, but I really wanted to bet on myself and I really knew that I could do it. Like I truly knew deep down inside I could do this. I just needed to like go all in. And so that's what I did. But you have to know, you know, that comes with the risk, right? Like there could have been a risk that I couldn't have paid off that credit card. But yeah, that's how I did it. I don't know if that's good advice or not. I'm sorry. If you were a brand, what would you look for in a creator when looking to hire one for a campaign? I love this question. If I was a brand, what I would be looking for is how can I place my product into this person's content and it looks seamless and it look natural. So like, you know, I would be like, okay, let's say I was selling this cup. I would be like, okay, does this person do like any like day in the life stuff where they're like filling up their water bottle or they're going on a workout, they're running around chasing their kids and they always have their water bottle in their hand, or they're sitting and they're talking and like they could be holding this product. Like I want to see my product. I want to see it in their content. So I would be looking at influencers and figuring out, are they marketable and would their audience really love my product? And if they used it, would it feel like an ad? Because we don't want it to feel like an ad. We want it to feel like, okay, this is very natural, right? She already loves this and now she's just telling us more information about it. That's what it is, right? Like I love working with the brands that I already use. That's the whole purpose of this. It's just cool to get paid now to work with the brands that I love. That's crazy. So that's what I would be looking for. Love your content. How do you juggle it all? I don't. I'm struggling. I will be completely honest with you. I am not even as consistent as I used to be, and I'm struggling with the 2 under 2 and the balance of everything that's going on at home, which I have kind of spoken about, but I haven't really told you guys what's going on. But there's a lot of shit going on in my life right now that's not really what I anticipated. And it's been really hard behind closed doors to just keep my head on. But content is saving me because it's a creative outlet. So I would say like, how am I juggling it all? I'm barely doing it. I'm hanging on by a thread. In fact, I just hired someone to help me be more consistent, take some stuff off my plate and really help me organize my business so that I can get to the next level that I want to get to. And so I'm investing in someone to really come and optimize my business and I'm really excited about it. But yeah, I don't know how I'm juggling any of it. I don't feel like I'm doing a good job. I think I'm just here. But yeah, I don't want to lie to you. I'm not doing a good job in my opinion of juggling it all. I'm really all over the place. I'm forgetful about things right now. And my mental health isn't doing too well. So I don't have that under the control. And this phase of life I couldn't have anticipated. So maybe another day I will have better advice for you. But that is my truth, is that I am struggling to do it all right now. I don't know how to do it all. And right now things have to come off my plate, I realized, or I'm going to crack. So I'm trying to, again, delegate and outsource and ask for help because I need it right now because I'm not doing as well as I would like to be. So that is my truth. How did you get signed with an agency? So agencies started to reach out to me as soon as I signed with Sephora Squad, or as soon as I made Sephora Squad, it was announced. So I signed with an agency like within the same week. I knew that I needed an agency. So I finally was ready to, once I saw the Sephora contract, I was like, oh my God, this is too much. I don't know what's going on here. Send help. This is a big contract and I am not a legal person whatsoever. So that was the time that I was like, okay, let me go follow up with all the agencies that have reached out to me. So an agency reached out to me, but if you have the numbers, if you're growing consistently and you're getting an inbox that you cannot manage, then you should definitely look into DMing agencies or, talking to any of your content creator friends about where they're assigned and seeing if they can get you a call. But yeah, that would be the time where you're going to want to reach out and talk to someone, is when you cannot manage your inbox and the conversations between brands. It's just too much. Then it's probably time for you to look into management. Okay. That wraps up the Q&A. Did we have a good time? I hope you guys had a good time because I did. I feel like these questions, my answers haven't really changed that much. I think the only difference is I have 2 babies now and I'm juggling a lot more stuff and things just business-wise have to look different now, because it's not just me in my room making beauty videos anymore. It's a lot of other people, and it's a lot of life things going on. It's a lot of mental changes. I'm in postpartum and I'm dealing with some stuff, and it's just a lot. Like, my life isn't really, it's so beautiful, but at the same time right now I'm struggling, and that is my own personal journey and testimony and all these things. But yeah, I feel super blessed to still be doing this career. I feel super blessed to still be a creator. I feel super blessed to have this community here and to have all of you guys supporting me consistently through all phases of life. Like, what a dream to be on this life journey with all of you. Truly, this is my dream job. I am living my dream job. And so I carry the weight and responsibility and the pressure that comes with it. Pressure is a privilege, baby. And it is a privilege to have this type of platform and to be able to connect with so many amazing people all over the world. It's crazy. So I am truly, 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 truly grateful for everything that this experience as a content creator has brought me. It has literally given me so much in life, and I'm just thankful to each and every one of you. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If there was a question that you wanted answered and I didn't answer it, please put it in the comments. Let's chat there. But yeah, I love you, YouTube. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I hope you had a little snack, a little bite to eat. Okay. All right. I love you guys. Good night. Bye.